Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. I'm Michael Chu. This video, we're going to talk about some of the growth stocks that are doing well, especially after the election. This is for the week ending November 8th, 2024. So before we dive into this top list on my spreadsheet here, we're just going to look at the strengths in certain sectors that I follow. So here's the technology, retail, industrial, health, commodities, energy, and financial. So we can see that by Tuesday we're starting to see some pickup in accumulation, and then it starts to increase by Wednesday. Obviously, that's the after election day, and then we continue to see the strength build up, even on the next day, and then by Friday you can see financials are consistently over 200 stocks, at least the ones that I'm following. And then we have industrials in second place by the end of the week. And then we have retail was kind of strong Wednesday, Thursday, but it did come back down a little bit on Friday. Then tech actually also uh, grow a little bit, and then by Friday also came down a little bit. And then we have commodities and health. So health was like fifth place here, and commodities the weakest one right now. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment or ask any question you like. So here I have filtered technologies. So the stocks on my list right now has a really strict criteria, and which is at least for the next 4 quarters, it should be growing roughly 10% or more. So that's a very strict criteria. So if they're gonna have a negative quarter, it's not gonna be on my list. Again, very strict criteria right now. There is lots of stocks that are doing well, so I'm going to be more restrictive. So we're going to start with the strongest sector first, which is financials. So here we go. So here we can see the top 100 number here, and then we'll start from the top. So we have SOFI. This is in the consumer loans area, uh, and what this column here is basically hitting daily on that day on Friday, basically as of Friday, it hit a new daily high on relative strength, and also it closes the weekly relative strength also on a high, and then it also hit a new high on November 8th, which is also Friday, at least based on this time frame. So my time frame is based on October 9th, basically roughly where most stocks start to report since that time. So then we have an uptrend, which is it has to be above the 10-21 day moving average. So those are the few columns I look at, and so you can see the price performance right here. This is sorted by that, and we are at 51% gain on SOFI. So let's quickly jump to that one to take a look. So I'm going to go to the weekly chart first. So here we have this really nice deep cup though, 43% correction here, and then it kind of came out right here, and then it went higher. So now we're at 24% gain since that time. So here's the daily chart. Here's the earnings right here, very volatile. So and then it kind of came back above it, the green line, which is the 10-day moving average, and then you can see after that it pulls back after the earnings result. It pulls back as well. And then this is bounce right here. Is where you could have taken a position, and that's Tuesday, and then gap out on Wednesday, of course, for the election day, and then it followed through on Friday. Look at that. So I'm not gonna go through the whole list, so feel free to follow it on your own. We have Nerd Snacks, then we have Toast. So Toast did pretty well. So Toast, yeah, so you can see this gap up on earnings, I believe, and really strong day. It's definitely above the channel line here now, upper channel line, and it's definitely way extended. So now, assuming this doesn't go into correction, so the 10 days at this slope right now, it's gonna test this 10-day at some point, whether it's gonna touch it or whether it's gonna not touch it and bounce. So maybe that will feel, maybe it's gonna hold for 1 or 2 weeks here. I don't know what's gonna happen, but that's what I would be waiting for. Let's look at on the weekly chart. So really the breakout zone is around here, and so This is the breakout zone you could buy during those few weeks. It didn't move much as you see after it breaks out, but then eventually it really moved, start to move a little bit more, and then the earnings is what the real big move is. So before I continue on that list, I just want to bring up XLF. Um, you could look at regional bank index as well, or big bank index, but in general we have this huge gap up on Wednesday. I believe it was like a 6% gain. And so that was the really big day, right? After that day, it kind of, went sideways, right? Like Thursday, it pulls back a little bit to the low of the Wednesday's gap up. And then Thursday, Friday, it kind of didn't go down. So that's a good sign because it doesn't want to go lower. And then it just hold, like intraday range, like the range like within the intraday of the first Wednesday here, right? So what's happening is a lot of stocks went up so much on the financial side that they're kind of taking a rest, right? So that's why I'm not seeing a lot of relative strength high closing on both the daily on Friday and as well on the weekly on Friday, right? Well, you can see it did hit the high on the weekly chart because on Friday it didn't close strong, but on the week it did close strong, right? So for example, GSHD. So if we look at this chart right here, you can see Wednesday it kind of moved up and then it didn't close very strong though. So that's one problem. But Thursday, Friday, actually this one actually moved up more. So this one is probably slightly different than other ones. But I think in the main video, in the other video, I was talking about like Goldman Sachs, for example. Um, yeah, they were doing similar stuff like the index were doing. So it just kind of went sideways, right? So which is a good thing because what this means is it's gonna let the 10-day moving average catch up, and it might bounce right here, or it might just wait a couple more days, and as the 10-day moving average comes up, and then it bounce again. So it's a good thing that it's digesting its gains right now, and it's just going sideways, which is healthy. It's not coming back down, right? At least not yet. Next, we have EVR in the investment banker broker group. I do own this one, so let's see how I trade this one. So right here, I think I took a position on Tuesday, and so this one has a bad earnings, right? But it start to after it dropped that day, it start to like didn't want to hit a new low. So you can see right here, it didn't want to hit a new low in the following days, and it was holding up. And let me just take out my markup. So here you can see it's just holding up. It came above the 10-day, the green line, and then it kind of fall back. It came above the 10-day, and then it kind of fall back. And then this day right here is Tuesday, and the volume came in, and this time it closed also at the top of the bar on the range on that day. So I took a position, not knowing what the election result might impact this. But I've been a fan of financials recently because I just noticed a lot of financials are doing much better. And then um, yeah, and then it gap up, and then as you see, it gaps up, and then it pulled back on Thursday, still within the range of the Wednesday, and then Friday it goes a little bit lower, but not much, right? And then it bounced back. So let's look at intraday chart. So yeah, so here's the low right here. So Thursday, Friday, I mean, you see it test the low many times right here. Um, and then it finally closed stronger. So that's a good sign. Also, volume didn't expand here as well on the downside. So that so far looks okay. And I mean, it already make 20% from this traditional buy point here. So let's see how this will continue to do. Then we have SF, Investment Banker Broker, BX, Investment Management, NWA, Consumer Loans, MS, Bank, LAS, Investment Banker Broker. So lots of Investment Banker Broker. MC as well, Goldman Sachs right here, HMN Insurance, LOB Bank Southeast, NTRS, Super Regional, VCTR Investment Management. Let's look at that one. So here we have a gap up. Let me look at this. When is this earnings day here? That's Thursday. Okay, so that's probably after hours Friday. I mean after hours Thursday, and then Friday you can see this move here. So yeah, Wednesday we had this gap up. Thursday it pulled back, so that's not ideal. It pulled back pretty strong and much lower than the previous day's gap up low. And then Friday it found some support. So you can see it didn't touch the green line, which is 10-day simple moving average. So that's a good sign because it found support even before it hits it. So that's usually signify there's strength, right? There's people wanting to acquire the stock. So it went down a little bit lower, and you can see it tested that 3 times here. And it didn't want to go lower, and then it went. So yeah, it looks pretty good right now. I mean, you could have added here on Friday. So again, we'll see. But it looks good so far. So then there's other stocks that are not in the top 100 list right now based on performance, but they did show. So I highlight in blue all the ones that are showing strong relative strength as of Friday, hitting new highs on Friday and in an uptrend. So for HHH, CPay, so you might want to look into those as well. So in the next group that is second strongest this week is industrials, and you can see they span lots of groups here. So industrial is quite diverse in that sense. Um, and and yeah, you have XMTR here with a huge gain in the machinery area. Upwork, this is a commercial service staffing area, also did really well, 58% gain since then. CLS is one that I own in the electrical contract manufacturing. So here's the daily chart. You can see my green marks here. Those are my buy points. And this is initial right here, breakout right here. So the first time it actually fell. Like, I mean, if you jump in too quick, it fell, right? Because it pulled back pretty strong to the green and red pink line, which is 1021 day. Then this breakout right here is really the key on earnings. And then it moves up a couple of days and then it fall back. Now this fall back, I think I set my stop too close. I got knockout, so hence the red mark. But then I had to buy it back a couple of days later. So that's something, I think I made a mistake here by setting it too close, and that's another problem. Like that's something I don't usually do, but I don't know what I was doing at that moment. I just put it too close. I think I got knocked out by like within a few cents. I'm not joking. So unfortunately, but anyhow, I didn't buy it back right away because I just want to see like if the it can continue going up, and it did. So I bought it back like 2 days later. And then it moves up, and you can see my pink mark here is where I sold some position, just to lock in some gains. And then so far, this 10-day is a very sharp slope here, and you can see even on Friday it went down, but it still closed higher. So that's impressive. I mean, it could have more room to go. Like it's just so strong. Look at this. Like it just keep going higher. Like many days now. Look at that. So every time it's the bottom, it doesn't even test it many times, right? Like once or twice, on the 5-minute range bar. That's very little test. So yeah, very strong right now. Lots of volume. You can see this volume right here. Just quite lots of accumulation happening here. So this is electrical area. So which is can be important to. I don't know if this stock has anything to do with AI, but right now there's a lot of electrical stocks that are doing, especially in the power area, right? Then we have NGVT with the chemical specialty area, AXON security area. Yeah, this stock did really well on earnings this week. You can see this power up move. I mean, yeah, you really can't chase this. I mean, this is really climatic run, right? In my opinion. So very similar to app loving Palantir. It's been running for a while, and then here's this big boost, right? It's kind of too far now, too extended to even consider. At some point, it's gonna build another base, right? And then the 10-day will catch up, and who knows, like something like this. So yeah, anyhow, good for anyone who owned this. Definitely did really well. Yeah, it was on my radar, so I did. Next, we have TTMI, also in electrical contract manufacturing, KRNT, machinery and general industrial, DRS in the aerospace defense, FIX in the heating AC heating products area, JBHT in the machinery, general industrial, WCC electronic parts, VST. So this is one of the electrical power. So let's look at that one. So here, this is the initial breakout. It went up over 20% gain, and then it corrected. And then you can see it corrected even further, make almost like a W-shaped pattern. Now it's moving up again. So it's been bouncing from the low very fast. Like it really recouped all its losses in 4 days, which is impressive. Volume did come in as well. So it looks really good. Let's go look at the weekly chart. So this is not sure if IBD market search will draw this as a base. It's very short right now, 5 weeks. So no, it did no. This is yeah. So anyhow, yeah. I mean, it's a very short base, but nonetheless, it did break out. I think so. It's good. Then we have VMC, building, cement area, QNST, commercial service, advertising, COHR. This is another one in the electronic area. This is in the parts. So let's take a look. So on the weekly chart, you can see very short pullback, 3 weeks of pullback, and then this week it bounced pretty strong. So still lots of strength. This one, a little bit more volatile, but a lot of people are following this stock. So here it broke out and make the 20% gain. Then it pulls back pretty strong, and then now in 4 days, same thing as before. The stock before it bounced really fast. I mean, look at by the third day it was already out of the high. And then Friday, I think I took a position. Yeah, so you can see it didn't want to close low and it make a new high. So that's very impressive. So here's the intraday low. It didn't go further. Didn't want to give back much, and then yeah, and then it just keep going. Next, we have CR in the diversified operations, MTZ, building heavy construction, GXO, transportation logistics. That one's slightly downtrend right now. EXLS, commercial service outsourcing, VRT, another electrical power area. So let's look at that one. So here's VRT. You can see I bought it around here after the earnings. It didn't move much, and then it came back down, tested the low. I survived this low from the previous day here, and then it bounced off. Looks very strong right now. The slope is quite strong, like 45-degree angle. And then on Friday you can see it didn't want to touch the green line. Again, this is something that I pay very special attention to, how close it comes to the 10-day moving average. And usually when it doesn't want to come down to it, it means it has more room to run. So right now this is the slope of the 10-day. So as long as it doesn't want to come down, it could keep riding, right? So that's the momentum I'm trading. And then there's some more stocks here. JBHT in the transportation truck, APH electronic parts, and then you have all these other ones here, and then ETN in the diversified operations also closing really strong on the week. Next we have the retail sector, and there's quite a bit of stocks making new highs on Friday. You can see that doing really well. ALRN, so this is consumer service education. We also see ATGE here, and we also see TAL here. So there's quite a bit of those stocks in doing well. So let's look at LRN Stride. So this is something I own right now. It gap out on this earnings, and this is a pretty severe correction. Like I mean, it undercut for a long time actually. Like this is since like May. I mean, this is a big correction right here. Then it gap out on the earnings, and then since then you can see I took a position right there, and then it went sideways. This is the action you want to see after a gap up. It goes sideways. So and then it moves up after that. So it keep making new highs, right? And then it goes sideways again. Look at this. It went sideways again instead of coming down. And then as the 10-day, which is right here, it continued to move up. It just doesn't want to come down to it. And then it moves to new high again. And then on Thursday, look at that move on Thursday. So little volume, so such a short range. And then Friday it went even higher. So this is starting to get extended now. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm not sure when I will take profit yet, but it's start this is where the 10-day is right now. This is my stop right now. I have moved it up. I have moved up my stops to here now. I like putting stops near the 10-day. because in general, that seems to be a good support level usually. Not always, but again, depends how your stock act around the 10-day, right? But this one has been, doing really well. It didn't want to come to it so far. So at some point, it's gonna break below the 10-day, and that's probably where I'll stop out. But I also like to take profits sometimes, like lock in some gains. So we'll see. It's starting to feel a little bit extended right now, so I might take some gains in this following week. We'll see. So we have SNCY in the transportation airline, TZOO in the travel area, XPOF leisure services, PBPB retail restaurants, CPS auto truck, SFM retail super mini market. So this is something I own. So here's the channel line. It did break out above that on earnings. So let me draw that. So right here, this earnings and it gap up. So but it closes on the lower range, right? So again, I didn't chase it on that day, and it closed weak. So I look at what it happened next day. On the next day, I took a position. It closes near the top of the range, and it didn't make a new low compared to the previous gap up low. And so I took a position, and I missed SFM. You can see this run. Like I traded around it, didn't really, make enough of a move here because I missed this part. This part is probably the part I should have gotten. But anyhow, so knowing that it has a strong record, and then this earnings gap up is just so powerful, right? And I took a risk here, and it did work. So it still keep moving higher, and you can see it never wanted to touch the 10-day. Now the slope looks a little bit insane. 6%, 60-degree angle. I took some profit right here, and now it's at higher. So probably, again, we'll see how it reacts. Like it looks pretty strong. Then we have ATGE, OLO, retail internet, SHAK, restaurant, DAL, transportation airline. So this is Delta is the one of the earlier ones that reported on October 10th. And so it broke out right here. I bought into it first position, went up, pulls back. Look at the pullback. Look at this tightness. And eventually it did, hit the 10-day, even went below the 10-day. Again, what is the volume look like? Look at those volume, very low volume. Then it bounced right here. I took another position. That's my second position. It went up again, pulls back. Look at the volume, start to die again. Took another position right here. Then here you can see it moving sideways again. So we'll see if this will hold this time. It's almost hitting the 20% mark now. So yeah. Then we have Dash, retail internet, Expedia, leisure travel booking, AAL, transportation airline, RCL, leisure services. We talked about that on the main market video. ACVA, retail wholesale, Netflix. We also talked about in the other market video. Yeah, feel free to go through this list here on your own. Amazon, I also mentioned that in the previous market video. You could position that as well. Then you have USFD here. So for technology, we saw in the market video, the other one that I did. Feel free to watch that one. We saw IGV, which is the software group, went up quite significantly, and App Palantir, we also did talk about that in the previous video. Those are the two that went up quite a bit. We can see ML here. So there's quite a bit of financial software. ML is one of them. Right here we see Q2, C1, and there's more here. MLNK, LKT. Those are all in the financial software area, and they're doing really well. So let's take a look at that one. So here's this one. Again, long downtrend line. You can see it follows the 50-day pretty well. It broke above the 50-day right here, went sideways, didn't do much. It started to drift down again. Some people might have given up here, but anyhow, the real move came like on the earnings day right here. I think Thursday. Yeah, and then Friday it seems to have fallen too. Is it a Thursday or Friday? Because I can't tell if they open after hours or in the morning. So anyhow, but this move is big. You can see in just a few days, it really moved big here. So it could be the downturn could be over. The fundamental numbers are quite strong. You can see from negative to positive. And then the next few quarters will continue to grow as well. So next we have to talk about Reddit. Very powerful stock right now. It actually make the move even before the earnings. You can see it broke out right here. A deep base. This is a recent IPO. Unfortunately, I don't own this one. Go down to daily here. So here's the nice handle right there. So this could be the first buy point right there, and then it slowly move up. It looks like it's not doing much, but it is progressing. And here's another day. I don't think the volume came in on that day. Eventually it did break out on the earnings, and so this is the day right here, gap up. So it followed through the next day, and then it pulls back pretty hard, but not enough to go to the 10-day. So then it bounced right here, and then it's been going up since. And this is the very strong 10-day slope, like this is like 60 BN. Next we have ALAB. This one also did really well on earnings. You see the numbers, triple-digit growth right now. Also like Reddit, recent IPO, very deep correction. I mean, like this is pretty insane, over 50% correction here. Then it started to bounce back really strong. Look at how fast it bounced back, and look at the volume as it bounced back. Those are bars that are significantly above average. And of course, this week we saw the big gap up here on the earnings day, and the daily chart. You can see that right here. And yeah, it's definitely you know, I don't know if it's extended from this buy point, but yeah, it seems like it's still moving. So here's the slope right now. Next we have Audio Eye. So Audio Eye did really well right here. Then it built this base. Then it tried to get out, but it fell. And came back in and built another base. And then this base was much longer, and it's just a very slow, painful digestion, consolidation. And then even this move right here, it fell and then came back down. And then finally, this week, it actually broke out. So this is the breakout area right here. And so here's the breakout on the daily chart. You can see. So on Friday, you can see after the earnings report, it was very volatile. It pulled back all the way to the short-term moving average, and you can see on the 5-minute bar, and then it bounced back really fast. So given how he has traded in the past, right here, I took a position on Friday because of this breakout right here. So we'll see how it goes. Relative strength at new high. The numbers look pretty good as well. You can see it growing pretty strong. Then we have Rambus, and then Fresh, actually, missed that. Rambus, and then we have Twilio. So Twilio, it hasn't been on the radar for a long time. You can see it just, stuck in this long range since the bear market 2022. It hasn't moved. And now, 2 weeks in a row now, like since it broke out right here, from the earnings, it continued to move and in a very fast pace. I mean, the numbers are okay. They're not like superior or anything, but so let's go. So, but the technical perspective, it has definitely improved. So here's a gap up right here on high volume, and then it continued to fall through the next few days. It hasn't stopped yet. So I think I took, yeah, based on my mark here, I took position on Wednesday, and then Thursday I locked in some gains, and then Friday continued to move up. Next we have CVLT in the database area. We already talked about those two. RNG also in the enterprise software. Priva in the software medical. HubSpot, some computer software enterprise. MTSI, another chip manufacturing. WK database. KD in the enterprise software. So let's take a look at that. So numbers are growing very crazy. From really flat numbers to much better. And so, and this stock, a little bit more volatile because it's in the $20 range. Mid cap 6 billion. I mean, this correction here is quite significant, 25%, and the time length of this base is also long. So it hasn't fully break out from the top yet, but yeah, if you treat this downtrend line as your buy trend line, to buy, then you could have gone a little bit earlier. So right here, and again, it aligns exactly where the earnings came out on. and so it broke out that day. It missed my radar on that day, so the next day I took position, since it's still within the space. So that's another thing I don't mind doing, especially if it's gap up, but it's still near within the bigger picture of the base. I would still take position. Then we have DV, software enterprise, MLNK. We talked about that. Financial, Duolingo, yeah, software education media. Well, this one is not easy stock to trade, especially around here. I mean, I trade it many times. Finally, it works around here. And you can see I was pretty heavy into this stock around those area, and it did really well here. And then since then, it hasn't moved much. It went sideways for quite many weeks here, and then it come out, but then it fell, like, not completely fell, but it went back in, and then finally here on Tuesday and Wednesday it started to come out again, and then Thursday has a very volatile day. I'm not sure if there was any news, but it's very volatile. It swing below Wednesday's low, so it would have shaken out a lot of people. So here's the low on Wednesday. Thursday it went below it, and then since then it has climbed so far. So yeah, this stock is definitely more volatile, but it looks really sharp right now. So relative strength is moving up really fast. So there's other stocks here. You can see Taiwan Semiconductor, ServiceNow here, both of which I own. There's ARM down here as well, but that one's kind of downtrend. Yeah, and then we have MGNI in the software enterprise. So here we have quite a few health stocks doing not bad either. Less stocks in the top 100. So first one here, we have ATAC in the medical products group, NARI in the products group, PEN products group, CNMD products group, SYK products group. Yeah, let's take a look at NARI. So NARI is still within the space. It's a nice round cup base starting to come back on the right side. It has earnings news right here, and so after that gap up, it kind of didn't try to challenge the low of the gap up, but it didn't undercut it, I don't think. Then it moved up again right here, and then falling back a little bit again. Look at this. It didn't want to touch the 10-day, and then close in the middle range. Looks pretty good. Then we have MDGL in the biotech group. We see lots of biotech group. ADMA here. WGS really strong stock. VCell, ITCI, Cord, UTHR, ARGX here, TVDX, MBIX, Iowa. Let's look at ADMA. Pretty good earnings growth here for a biotech stock, and hence the strong performance. This is the first big pullback, went up more, and then here's the base building right here. Really short base, right? Like not even 5 weeks. And then it come out again, right? So very strong, and you can see the volume bars are keep going higher and higher. So it seems like definitely a lot of accumulation. But the last 2 weeks it didn't go above average, so a little bit worrisome there. Let's look at the daily chart here. So here's the first. I don't know. There must be some news here where it moved up and then it comes back down again. Challenged the low, didn't hit it, didn't come to the 10-day as well. And then the earnings move right here, and I took position on this breakout. Next we have PRCT in the system equipment group. HAE is also in that group, and MESI is also in that group, and Intuitive Surgical is in that group. Let's take a look at PRCT. So here's a double bottom base, and then it formed another one, so a double bottom on the top, which tests a lot of patience. And finally, it came out a week ago, and the numbers look decent going forward. So it's increasing. You can see compared to before. So the earnings line is gonna look even better. And then go to daily chart. Here's the double bottom breakout. Here's the gap up on earnings. That's when I first took my position there. I did end up selling here, and then I bought back in here. I'm not sure if it's too soon to buy back in. We'll see. Yeah. Next stock we didn't talk about yet is BTSG, outpatient home care. So the final sector we're going to look at is commodities energy area. You can see not many stocks in the top 100. This is for sure the weakest one. and also not many close at the top on the week as well. TRGB is one of them, but some of the stocks in this group, in this area: GTLS, oil and gas machinery; NOAA, oil and gas field service; OII, field service; AA, mining ores; DAR, agriculture operations; CRS, steel. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week. Hope you like this video, enjoy it, and please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next week, thank you.